Welcome to NABN TV News Magazine. My name is Olivia Nantongo. In our special report today, the Nigerian government plans to reopen its consulate office in San Francisco, west coast of the United States, in the next few weeks. What made the Nigerian government suddenly decide to reopen the consulate office after 32 years? The Nigerian Consul General, New York Ambassador Lot Egopija, is with us today to talk about it. And listen to this. In Nigeria, about 10.5 million children are not in school, even though primary education is officially free and compulsory. In the same Nigeria, 49 Nasara prison inmates are studying for PhD graduate and postgraduate degrees. We will bring you all the details in a moment. Please stay tuned.
NABN TV, inspiring a new generation.
Welcome back. Nearly 30,000 children in sub-Saharan Africa are believed to have died from cancer during COVID-19 pandemic, says the regional office of the World Health Organization. Dr. Jean-Marie Dangu, Non-Communicable Diseases Program Coordinator at the WHO regional office, say the childhood cancer survival rate in Africa was around 20%, compared to more than 80% in high-income countries. While 80% of childhood cancers are curable, it is dependent on early detection and progressive treatment, says Professor Lona Aworena, head of the Pediatric Oncology Unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in Accra, Ghana. And now on education. In Nigeria, about 10.5 million children are not in school, even though primary education is officially free and compulsory. In northern eastern Nigeria, 2.8 million children are in need of education in emergency support in 3 conflict-affected states: Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. In these states, at least 802 schools remain closed and 497 classrooms are listed as destroyed, with another 1,300 damaged but repairable. Still on education, in Nigeria, while 10.5 million children are out of school in Nigeria, 49 Nasara prison inmates are studying for PhD graduate, postgraduate degrees. Aliyu Yahuza, the NCOS controller, recently made this disclosure. Now to our special report. It's no longer news that in a few weeks, the Nigerian government would be reopening its San Francisco consulate office after 32 years of being locked down. During the lockdown, it was stressful for Nigerians residing in California and other neighboring states to travel to the East Coast for consular services. This made it harder for Nigerians residing in the East Coast and other areas to apply for passports and visas.
Just because they want to renew their passport, they have to leave their home, travel by flight, pay for rent-a-car, sleep in hotel. About $1,500 for this trip.
I was here on Tuesday. People waited for hours.
I couldn't get my passport. I had to apply for a visa. A Nigerian citizen to apply for a visa before I can go to my country is messed up.
The question is, why did it take the federal government of Nigeria 32 years to reopen its consulate office in San Francisco? We have the Consul General of Nigeria in New York, Ambassador Lot Egopija, and some Nigerian community leaders joining us to discuss the strategic importance and implementations of reopening the San Francisco consulate. Your Excellency, welcome. Now that the federal government of Nigeria has decided to reopen the consulate office in San Francisco that was closed in 1989, what does this mean to you regarding the fact that your office is currently overwhelmed with enormous work?
I see proposed opening of our Consulate General in San Francisco as something all Nigerians living in the United States should be cheerful about. And there have been plans by government to bring it to reopen the consulates within this period of its closure. And now government having made the pronouncements on the reopening of the mission, I am elated as a person, and as a career officer, I see it as a way of reaching out to our nationals that have been living in the West Coast. And this will also make it simpler for them to have consular services without having to travel all the way to the 3 other missions that are far away from them. For me, I wouldn't consider the consulate have been overwhelmed. We have had a way of working around it, and we're still working, and we'll keep improving. But we'll welcome another mission, and that is because we would want Nigerians to be served better.
In terms of obtaining visas, passports, or renewal, what's the current timeline?
As a national, it's your responsibility to renew your documents early enough. And there is a window, 6 months window before the expiration of your travel document, your passport, that you should process your passport. We are happy on this because we do not have all the materials on ground. 6 months is enough to get everything set before the expiration of your current passport. And as such, we want Nigerians to always look at their documents from time to time and probably put a reminder on their phones so that they will be alerted when to renew their next passports. And that same goes for visa. Once you know you are intended, you want to travel, and you, even if you're a Nigerian and you want to go with your United States passport to Nigeria, you would need a visa. And as such, you would need time to process the visa. But for passport, I will be particular about the passport issue right now. Within that 6 months window, you should be able to process and get your passport booklets for your next journey. And I think that is the time frame. We are doing everything to ensure that anyone who comes in to process his passport renewal, that he gets it within the window we give them. And we've been doing that, and we still intend to sort of reduce that windows when there is enough availability of passport booklets and the current backlogs are cleared.
Your ambassador, thank you so much for coming to NABA TV.
Thank you so much.
And some Nigerian community leaders joining us to discuss importance of reopening the San Francisco consulate. Welcome to NABN TV. Now that the federal government of Nigeria has decided to reopen the consulate office in San Francisco that was closed in 1989, what does this mean to you?
This is a welcoming news, very good news to hear that the government of Nigeria has decided to reopen the San Francisco consular office. It's a welcoming news for several reasons. One, there is a tremendous burden on New York Consulate. And we are fully aware of, the problems, or some of the problems that that office is going through. I think the reopening of the San Francisco office, we will be hopefully will lessen the burden on the New York. We hope that the consulate office in the San Francisco will copy, what the is doing, because we've been working with our office, for some time now, on how we believe that consular services should be delivered to our community in a more effective and efficient way.
To answer your question directly, the number of people that will be relieved from New York consulate office and the DC area to the new consulate office will be significant. So it will allow them some space to also deal with their immediate constituents. And then while California sops up a number of people from that area, I mean, for instance, people still living in Houston, Minnesota, and the rest of them can still visit California because they are closer to California. Right now, they are being serviced by DC and New York. And they have been, I'm aware that, for instance, Indiana, they have done passport intervention. In the last 3 years, that up to now, people have not collected their passport. There's no reason why that should be happening if we have enough hands to deal with the situation. So having that office open is very, very important to relieving the load work with New York and the DC embassy.
My comments and my thoughts on a very good initiative by the federal government of Nigeria to reopen the consulate in California. I think it's a very good step in the right direction to harness the resources, the experience, the achievements, and the success of all the diasporans of Nigeria in the Americas. I cannot but lament that by not paying attention to this consulate for the past 32 years, losing 32 years of opportunities in the state that has the largest economy in the United States of America. I think our government, they have done the right thing by reconsidering their position to reopen this consulate. And I think going further, whatever we might have lost for the past 32 years, I pray God will allow us to catch up. And I think going further as well, the government of Nigeria will see the needs and the necessity to incorporate the diaspora of Nigeria in every sector of their government.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking time to come and talk to us. I know your time is very valuable, so have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Every year, millions of people around the world depend on painkillers to relieve their pain. Many have therefore also become addicted or dependent on opioids used to treat pain. The United States government spends billions of dollars every year in an attempt to curb and resolve the opioid crisis. A group of well-meaning scientists began to research for a permanent solution to pain which many individuals go through globally. They came up with a device called PBMT. What is PBMT technology? I'll start with Mr. Chris Costello. Mr. Chris, welcome to NABN TV. You have been in PBM business for years now. How does this PBMT work?
There are a lot of different mechanisms, but light in general impacts human life. If you think about the idea that we came out of the primordial ooze, and light helped make the molecular signaling that makes us exist today. So I think the interesting thing is that light is able to stimulate various biological processes or inhibit biological processes. So, for example, we can use light in a pulsed blue light, for example, to kill bacteria and viruses. whereas we can use red light or infrared light to accelerate tissue healing and decrease inflammation. So there are a variety of applications, from treatment of soft tissue injury, improvement of muscle performance, for example, treatment of pain. And I think a really important issue is early treatment, with these modalities, so that somebody heals quickly, has reduced pain, and doesn't end up going on to opiate drugs and becoming addicted. So I think we have to look at using light and light therapies as an intervention rapidly, as opposed to waiting till somebody is already in a chronic situation. But it helps in both cases, but I think it's an important consideration. And, we're also seeing a lot of other very interesting applications, which some of the other folks on this conversation will be talking about.
I think, Terry, there's a really important point that you've raised there, is the fact that we can help people to identify what is appropriate for their needs in terms of the application and dosing of PBM. And we can do that in a clinical setting. But often in these chronic uncurable conditions that need to be managed in the long term, if we can give them a home device to help them to self-administer at home, then that's really a key for improving quality of life and managing those kinds of things.
Sharon, what really got you interested into working with this?
I've been working with light therapy for about 20 years, and I got started through my animals, and I saw the reactions that the animals were getting with lights, even though I put it on me where they told me to put it. And I was like, okay, I don't get it at all. This doesn't work. But I put it on my horse, and that was an instant reaction. They looked at me, they responded, and animals can't lie. So what's going on here? And that got me started on a journey. I would incorporate that into my lifestyle, and I would share it with people, and everybody that I shared it with became a believer. And we've just kind of been on a grassroots over here for 20 years.
I love the fact that this is open to the world. You want to spread this worldwide. I'm asking, how do we bring this technology to Africa?
First of all, I believe that due to the increased scientific evidence behind different applications in different areas, I believe that photobiomodulation can become more popular and more accessible if the different governments start to accept it as a mainstream in medicine in general. So when we get the full acceptance from the governments, maybe they will realize, as Chris and Terry said, that this is a very cost-effective therapy. So the governments are going to realize at some point that this is a good investment for the health system in different countries. And then we can have this technology or this kind of therapy being spread not only in Africa, but in the entire world.
Dr. Baker, as the president of NELT, what is the purpose of joining conference with Walt?
The purpose is to unite researchers, clinicians, patients who all are using light, both laser light as well as LED light, to treat patients with medical conditions that in many cases prior to today had no treatment. Dr. Lin, one of your guests, will be perhaps talking about applications of light that just a year or two ago we were dreaming of, but never thought possible in terms of neurological applications. But the use of light is spreading to all the nations of the world. Right now, we have 18 different nations will be represented in this conference. And the purpose of Walt and NELT coming together is to unify the science, to show the world collectively what is possible and what is available. It is to showcase research from around the world and to show the world that this science is not only being used in the United States and Canada and North America, but is being used worldwide to make a difference in the care and treatment of the patients. As a physician, I've never been more excited about having light in my black bag. Everywhere I go, I have added light as a tool in my black bag as a physician to treat patients for conditions that previously were never thought possible. And so that's why Nault and Walt are coming together to put together perhaps the largest conference of its size. We're looking at nearly 100 speakers, both podium speakers and poster speakers, who will present their research and their clinical applications. So we're very excited about the upcoming conference.
Tell us more about the conference and what people should expect to walk away with.
I think this conference is really interesting because the amount of interest in photobiomodulation is growing. So we've had, traditionally, this conference comprises of academics and researchers, but the information going out to the public in general is, hey, light therapy or photobiomodulation can really help, and is going largely by word of mouth. There's more literature going out. There's in popular articles about, for sports, there is a lot of interest because they want to feel healthier. They have these panels that is kind of publicized. So apart from your supplements, your daily living, exercise, hey, you know what, we can help our muscle to recover, and so on and so on. So I think this conference, I hope, will open up to interest outside of the researchers, serious researchers, into more people having more and more interest into photobiomodulation.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best with the conference. My name is Olivia Nantongo. This was News Magazine. Thanks for watching.
NABN TV, inspiring a new generation.